Welcome back to the news at 4. The controversy over the Epstein files continues after Ghislaine Maxwell's congressional appearance and lawmakers' review of unredacted documents. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick faces scrutiny now for past Epstein ties, while survivors introduced Virginia's law to eliminate statutes of limitations. NBC's Gary Grumbach reports from Washington, D.C.
Facing bipartisan criticism over his ties to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, in a Senate hearing today, pushing back against suggestions he and the late convicted sex offender were friends.
Of these millions and millions of documents, there may be 10 emails connecting me with him, probably about 10 emails connecting me with him over a 14-year period.
But recently released documents from the Justice Department show Lutnick and Epstein had a number of interactions, even after Epstein was convicted in 2008 of soliciting the prostitution of a minor. Documents show Lutnick had lunch with his family on Epstein's private island in 2012.
We had lunch on the island. That is true, for an hour, and we left with all of my children, with my nannies and my wife, all together. We were on family vacation.
The issue is not that you engaged in any wrongdoing in connection with Jeffrey Epstein, but that you totally misrepresented the extent of your relationship with him to the Congress, to the American people, and to the survivors of his despicable criminal and predatory acts.
A growing number of Democrats and at least one Republican now calling on Lutnick to step down. Lutnick refusing to answer questions from reporters.
Did you have any financial involvement with Jeffrey Epstein? Why did you keep contact with Jeffrey Epstein after he pled guilty to sex crimes?
Epstein survivors had long claimed that Epstein's association with high-powered individuals enabled him to abuse young women. Today, survivors gather on Capitol Hill to announce legislation called Virginia's Law, named after the late Virginia Robert Giuffre, one of Epstein's most vocal accusers. It would eliminate the statute of limitations for sex traffickers.
Virginia's law does more than honor her legacy. It protects the future of every survivor. It says legislatively and legally, we see you, we believe you, and what happened to you matters.
As Epstein survivors continue their calls for accountability, Attorney General Pam Bondi will face lawmakers on Wednesday for a hearing where the Epstein files and the millions of pages still not released is expected to come up. Gary Grumbach, NBC News, Washington.